of the things that I've noticed over the years, and it's disturbing, is that we have been duped. We have been had. We have been bamboozled, lied to, taken advantage of people who dress for success. America has always been on a push about dressing and acting professional. That has got us in trouble. It continues to get us in trouble. And now, before our very eyes, we're seeing something unfold that a lot of people are not paying attention to in America today. China. You look at their leaders, they're dressed to the nines in military regalia. They're probably the most disciplined military in the world. These people are serious. They look at us and they laugh at us. China, I believe, has got an army somewhere in the ballpark of 200 million people. That's over 2/3 the U.S. population, folks. I lived in Hong Kong, but don't confuse Hong Kong with China. Hong Kong was fairly free under British rule. And they handed it back over to China in 1997, and they referred to Hong Kong as the Special Administrative Region. Two systems, one country. Hong Kong was allowed to run under the British way for 50 years from 1997, putting it at 2047. And we saw in 2019 that China, par for the course for communists, reneged on that. They said anybody who commits a crime in Hong Kong will be charged in either Shanghai or Beijing, and the people revolted and said, no, we're Hong Kongers, and China said, no, you're Chinese. China has wanted to take the Wall Street of Asia out of Hong Kong and move it to Shanghai or Beijing. Where America has gone wrong is allowing our businesses to go to China, a communist country, a country that does not value American freedom. China is a violator of human rights. They had a one-child policy years ago. A large percentage of Chinese are in abject poverty. I don't know why it is that people don't learn from history. I could give 2 cents care about Xi Jinping. I don't care what they think of me. I'd stand face to face with them and tell them they're wrong. Yes, I would. Communism is scary stuff. It's a violator of human rights. It's a violator of this. And while the world was sleeping, and while COVID came smashing across the world, all brought about in good old China, China was sweeping and destroying churches. Communism does not like and they fear the Word of God. They don't allow you to start a church. There's missionaries that go in under the guise of professors and they have to go underground. Why is communism so afraid of the Bible? Why is it the USSR did not want the Bible getting into their country? Because the Bible says you shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free. If you ever look at regimes, if you look at the Democratic Party in the United States, if you look at Kim Jong-un, if you look at Iran, if you look at every tyrannical government in the world, they are oppressors of human rights, and the Democrats right now are pumping their fists in the air, pro-China, pro-Iran. I don't know what it is that Americans cannot wake up about the dangers of the so-called Democracy Party. These people are nuts. They're bona fide nuts. They're filthy rich off of Capitol Hill, promoting communism, Islam. They're anti-Russia, pro-Ukraine. They hate Putin. Putin doesn't have women on his cabinet. Smart man. He don't want emotionally driven logic distractions. Putin's no dummy. Putin is smarter than all of the Democrats in America combined. I believe that with all my heart. And Biden was sitting there egging Putin on. What a stupid man Biden is. Stupid. And you read these dumb Democrat comments, T-hack, leaving comment after comment after comment, saying that Trump is a pedophile, Trump, Epstein. I said, where's your proof? Oh, if I heard it on the internet, it must be true. Man, I'm telling you, there's so much crap on the internet that will be pro for any false belief you want to believe. I got flat earthers coming on my channel trying to tell me with a poker face that the earth is not round. Good grief, Charlie Brown. I lived in Hong Kong. I saw the rumblings and the inklings of what China was doing. It was in the printed paper, the Hong Kong Daily Standard. I loved it. The Hong Kong Daily Standard was a good publication. I used to take my laptop to the Hong Kong library, which was right over there on the edge of Victoria Park, to upload my videos on my former channel. The Chinese government went in that library and removed all books that had to do with freedom. Why is the CCP against freedom? What arrogance that you have people that think that they got to be in charge, they get to call the shots. Talk about megalomania. And that's why America was set on the principle: a government for the people, by the people, less government, more self-control. That our founding fathers framed our Constitution for us to police and monitor our own selves, not be micromanaged by Democrats. We talk about micromanaging. Shitty companies that don't know how to hire micromanage. It's an oppressive place to work. They go like this to good employees, and they don't do nothing about the scofflaws. Now, I'm not micromanaged where I'm at. But there is a blind side to any leadership. I talked about it last night in my live chat. Jesus Christ is the only one without sin. I mean, if I was to be standing face to face with the Red Army, that would be intimidating. Knowing they could take me out like that. But it doesn't matter. I don't care how much military regalia they're draped in. I have the power of the living God living in me, and Christians need to realize we have a power at not our disposal, but we have the power of God residing in us, which is far greater than Xi Jinping's Colonel Klink army. Our world is impressed with prowess and the way people dress. And I'm going to say it again. The biggest jackasses in the world are all about wearing the right clothes and acting. I loved living in Hong Kong, but I loved it from a fleshly point of view. Allow me to share. When I lived in Hong Kong, I did not have to work at all to get a date. I didn't have to drive the right car. I didn't have to say what I do for a living. I just showed up at karaoke. And I'd dance. And I'd be polite to people. And pretty women, lots of pretty women say, my day off on Thursday, I like you. Can I be with you? Yeah. Why don't we take the ferry and go to Llama Island? I'll take you to a beautiful place. Come back to the U.S. It's a damn job interview. In fact, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. Now you're in a courtroom. Were you divorced? Do you have anger management? Do you have this? Do you have kids? What do you do? How much do you make? Do you got enough money to support me? Shoot, I haven't even got a date with you. Why are you asking that? Michael could go to Manila. Michael could go to Southeast Asia. If I don't have a girlfriend in a week, there's something wrong with me. Even when I was over there with Gloria in 2018, the women were hitting on me right in front of her. I've never seen anything like that. Got my arm over the back of the bench on the jeepney around Gloria, and a young lady sitting next to her and put her arm right over the top of mine. Gloria saw it. I didn't move my arm. We get off. She goes, yeah, they do that. I said, why? Michael, so many women here single, and the Filipinos don't look at them. I said, she was pretty. Southeast Asia has a massive amount of pretty women. They don't get to call the shots like they do in America. There's so many pretty women that the Filipino men and the Asian society can be picky. And we already know Filipino culture is a lot of love them and leave them too. There's good Filipinos, but they have a huge amount of separated. They can't get a divorce. They have to go through a Catholic annulment, costs money. The men aren't going to do it, and the woman's left holding the bag. It's pretty sad. And I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. My experiences. Asian women know how to make love. Oh my gosh. The best. I never made love in the U.S., but once or twice, I made love over there. Oh my gosh, they were sweet on me. The way they'd hold my arm in public, the way they'd lean into me. Their long, beautiful black hair, no dye, no Bondo. The women were sweet, they were beautiful, and everybody, American women say, oh, they were all prostitutes. Oh, no, they weren't. They were working women just like us. Not working women like for hire. I couldn't believe how affectionate and loving they were. To make love with an Asian woman truly was a taste of heaven to come. And I know there's no sex in heaven, but I crave intimacy. What the hell is intimacy in the United States? Intimate apparel, Victoria's Secret. Yeah, 99% of women teasing us. Teasing. You see it all over the internet. Dressed provocatively. You can't have them. You can't touch them. It's like the kids going downtown back in the olden days, seeing a storefront and seeing that brand new whatever in the window. Gee, Ollie, I would love to have that new toy. I know, but we can't afford it. Women have become that. They're behind 8-inch thick glass. You can't touch them. You can't have them. You can have the hand-me-downs. The hand-me-downs. At 60 years old, most of the women my age have been through the washing machine and the spin cycle of not just one, but many relationships. And they're bitter. And they live in that moment as if though it happened yesterday. Many of them, not all. I could ride on a jeepney in Manila. I could spend a day just cruising around. I guarantee you that a girl would see me and start talking to me, and she would guaranteed be pretty. It's sad. What does this have to do with China? We're getting there. There were things in Hong Kong that I loved, and I sinned again and again and again. Because all my pent-up emotion, all the stuff I tried to do, I was in a 14-year restrictive, crappy marriage. That still, the flotsam and the debris is floating up from that to the surface of the Atlantic. It was a Titanic shipwreck. There are deck chairs and crap all over the water. I've moved on, but the wreck site still belches stuff up to the surface. And it's all on her. We're not going to get into all that. I've noticed in my life as an American, there's been an interesting dynamic that's happened. Everybody goes through their stuff, okay? So I'm not going to try to say my daddy's bigger than your daddy and I've been through stuff. No, I'm not going to do that. But I had a joke when a school teacher lived in my house for a little over a year. I did not have a romantic inclinations towards her, but she was the most kind of female I've ever had close proximity with in this world, in this America. Respected my home. Didn't smoke, didn't drink, didn't do 420, wasn't noisy, wasn't smelly, wasn't disrespectful, didn't bang around in the bathroom, didn't leave a mess. She was the perfect roommate. I will never find a woman like that in my entire remaining life on this planet. I don't believe that. Feminism, entitlement, materialism has ruined most women. I could go to Thailand. I had a strong attraction towards Quan Phone, the longest lasting woman to stay on my Facebook. 6 years. I met her when I was in Florida. Could not speak her language. She couldn't speak mine, but she had a translator on their messenger. And then I finally, I went English to Thai. I'd type it in, copy and paste the Thai. Wow, Michael, you know Thai? No, I'm using a translator. Wow, our communication was perfect. Quan Phone is just a working woman. She worked at Cargill, a chicken factory down in Bangkok. She lived quite a ways out. Quan Phone used to tell me, she did know a little bit of English when we did live video. I'd say, Quan Phone, you're so beautiful. No, Quan Phone, not beautiful. She's married to her husband. long time ago, she had a son, and the son lived with her. And he got a job at an ice place that made block ice that still, people can't afford refrigerators and stuff, so people still buy the ice, just like in the old days. And I remember when I got COVID, I'm sitting here on the floor, missing work, and my messenger ring, and it's her. And her camera comes on. She's laying in a hospital bed with respirator over, and I'm like, Quanfo, what happened? COVID? What? Me too. We caught it at the same time. That woman is healthy. She has muscle. That woman is slender. She's a hard, disciplined, working. She's not the Thailand girls that leans next to the bar with the martini in the hand and up against the fancy car she don't own. You can go to Bangkok and hang out with the lipstick chicks. No, Quan Phone was ordinary and yet simply beautiful. And she didn't believe she was pretty. That girl blossomed as she got to know me. She's in her 40s. I said, I can't come marry you. I said, visa and all that is a pain in the butt. Michael, if you had the money, would you go over there? Absolutely. Absolutely. The bad thing is she's Buddhist. I did talk to her about Christ. I told her about the Bible. But she's deeply devoted to Buddhism. And that's a problem. But Quan Phone was nice. Quan Phone had humor. And a lot of Americans have this stupid view of foreigners. Quan Phone, Michael, has always been fascinated, and it all goes back to my grandmother who laid a stack of National Geographics. I woke up as early then as I do now. I get up in the morning when you heard the pigeons outside. Ooh, ooh. Grandma's like, oh boy, Michael's going to wake everybody up. Grandma gave me a love for the exotic world around me. Looking at pictures of African women in villages with their stuff showing. Wow, they don't wear a shirt there. Seeing their simple but strong homes. The lives. I think sometimes modernism is destroying us. It's made us so soft. I've had a few online relationships. One exploded. One was Maharani, as I dubbed her. Indonesian word for empress. She was very young, 22, still living with mom and dad, and mama was a Jesuit Catholic. If you know anything about Jesuits, you got to read a study on the Jesuits. Very bloody, dangerous people. And she would talk to me, and she was going to a college there in Melbourne. She was a Filipina. And I did like her. But she was immature. An online relationship is simply that. Online. It's been 8 years since I've dated. Even at 60. My hair color, I haven't dyed it. I could go over there. 25, 27, 28, 29, 30-year-old gal would have no problem being involved with me, living with me, cooking for me. No. People say, well, American men like them because they're docile and submit. You know nothing about the Asian. You cross them. They have a backbone. Don't kid yourself. That's not why I choose. I'm not surrounded by an Asian community here. I go to the flea market and I see the negative aspect of the few Asians that are out there. Every time they blink, you see dollar signs, and they're very money driven. There's a mother with her family, all the kids sitting out. I look at some Asian boys and they're just zombie. There's nothing there. No emotion. I saw that when I was in Hong Kong with the Chinese men. I had a couple Chinese male friends. They were more lively. There was a guy that worked at the restaurant. Michael, how are you? One day you, me, we go have beer. I said, I don't drink, but we go do something. He worked and worked and worked. I go down and buy Beth her favorite bread every day before she get up. Dang girl want to sleep all day. That ain't gonna work. That guy used to crack me up. He said, you like beautiful girl, huh? I said, yes, sir. He said, me too. Yesterday I went to work. Guy was raised in a Christian school with the Abeka curriculum. He's a conservative. He's pro-Trump. One of the biggest a-holes I've ever met out here to date. White guy, 53 years old, 54. His health is not that good. He's slender. He sloughs his feet, doesn't pick up his feet. In a day's time, I don't know why they keep him on board. His productivity rate isn't even 10%. Everybody that's worked under him in his department does way more work than he does. He likes to boss, direct, supervise. And he'll stand swaying back and forth. He thinks he has leadership material. Grew up in Hephzibah, Georgia. Never been anywhere. Never done anything. Been fired from 3, 4, 5 jobs. Something like that. At least that's what the others have said. I've never done anything to him. I come in yesterday. I had to ask him something. He was childish. He lied and was rude. And I finally had enough. And in front of the young black lady that's very pretty that he was training, I said, you know what? I'm tired of this. You are a rude man. You are rude to me. You got something against me, and we got to deal with this. He walks away and said, I said, did you hear me? You are rude. Don't tell me how to do my job. I said, I'm not telling you how to do your job. I've never told you how to do your job. When we have something that has to be picked in a location of the guy that's your boss, I was told to come to you, have you take a picture of with the company phone, and you send it to him. You've been doing that. All of a sudden today, it's an issue. And I'm not getting an explanation as to why. You're just being one of these. I didn't say that. But the problem is not just him. One of the owners likes him because he bought the company uniform. Hi, how are you? He's always very butt-kissed to management. Why are professionals fooled by that? I'm not. I would see that and go, this guy's trying to kiss my butt, and I know what he's doing. And I'd call him in and say, I've watched you. You know, that guy over there is working his butt off, and you're rude to him. Can you get down to the bottom of this? Well, he's weird. And why is he weird? Well, he talks to himself, and so? I've walked through there and everybody's talking to themselves. They're reading a ticket and mumbling out loud. Everybody does that. What is your problem with him? That guy works harder than anybody in here. You think I don't see that you're trying to brown nose? You better increase the production of what you're doing back here and stop being a bossy butt and start modeling what you want your employees to do. I'm going to let you go. Okay? Leadership in America, leadership today is failing. It's failing in the homes. They won't paddle their kids no more. The school board out here won't back up the drivers. The schools won't back up the drivers. You got grown black men and black women that got to put up with these black kids that aren't afraid of them. They can't kick them off the bus because mama don't have a car. Well, hey, baby, that's too bad. If I was an administrator, I'd say, it's not the school district's problem that you don't have a car. Your kid can't act right on the bus, then he will be denied pupil transportation. America had better be careful. Because in our Constitution, in our documents, it talks about people governing themselves. And you got a lot of people that don't. Riots, criminal behavior, all the crazy stuff going on. Whether you like to admit it or not, that CCP is disciplined. They're not having discussions in their military about whether you have a pee-pee or a taco. Okay? They're not studying sexual anatomy. They're trained to fight. Rigid discipline. Have you seen the CCP? And I hear a bunch of rednecks, a bunch of ignoramus in America. Oh, we can kick China's butt. They have 1 billion people, an army of 200 million. They could throw 200 million men come flying into the U.S. as suicide bombers and decimate this country before America would even have a clue. Well, our radar, and you're going to shoot down 200 million airplanes? Let me tell you something, man. Don't be so cocky. The Titanic is at the bottom of the ocean, so unsinkable, what a lie. And if people start believing America's unsinkable, that's when we're going to get whacked. God could use a mean, nasty, evil nation. He told one of the minor prophets that. Now, if I could just remember who it was. The oracle which Habakkuk the prophet saw. How long, O Lord, will I call for help, and thou wilt not hear? I cry out to thee violence, yet thou dost not save. Why dost thou make me see iniquity, and cause me to look on wickedness? Yes, destruction and violence are before me. Strife exists and contention arise. Therefore the law is ignored, and justice is never upheld. For the wicked surround the righteous, therefore justice comes out perverted. Look among the nations, observe, be astonished and wonder, because I am doing something in your days. You would not believe if you were told. Watch what God says to Habakkuk. For behold, I am raising up the Chaldeans, that fierce and impetuous people who march through the earth to seize dwelling places which are not theirs. They are dreaded and feared. Their justice and authority originate within themselves. Their horses are swifter than leopards and keener than wolves in the evening. Their horsemen come galloping. Their horsemen come from afar. They fly like an eagle, swooping down to devour. All of them come for violence. Their horde of faces moves forward. They collect captives like sand. They mock at kings, and rulers are a laughing matter to them. They laugh at every fortress and heap up rubble to capture it. Then they will sweep through like the wind and pass on, but they will be held guilty, they whose strength is in their God. I'm sorry, but whose strength is their God. They don't worship God, they worship themselves. And Habakkuk comes back and he says, they're worse than what we're under. What are you doing? God said somewhere in the Bible, the nations are as a drop in the bucket. Hey, Xi Jinping, drip. That's it, buddy. A drip in the bucket. Xi Jinping is a Christ-denying loser. Did you hear me? If America's not careful, God could use a wicked nation to spank us, judge us, and tear us up. Don't matter how many nukes we got. People have a very false sense of security because they buy a 4x4 or have a gun or they have an alarm system. Michael could get into most houses in the U.S. with a crowbar and a hammer. Those deadbolt doors you buy, the metal ones with the wood frames, a crowbar could bust the wood and crack it open. Locks are for honest people. It's so funny how people have a false sense of, well, I got a gun. Yeah, and you go to sleep at night, and somebody can break in your house, stand over you with a gun pointed at your head, and say, grab your gun, buddy! I'm so tired of macho clowns in this country. The Chinese army has more discipline than our troops do. Massive Grand Canyon gulf between the two. Don't ever laugh at China. Don't laugh at Russia. You do so at your own peril. God himself couldn't sink this ship. 114 years later, there's crabs walking around on the decks of the once glorious liner Titanic. China is not good. They're godless. They're atheistic. And I love it when atheists say, look at all the people killed in the name of religion. Yeah, look at all the people killed in the name of atheism. Ha! It's more. It's way more. Morons. Yeah. How many people have been killed in China? We don't know. We'll never have access to that. Millions. China's a violator of human rights. Shanghai and Beijing are front cities. That's all they are. It's like an amusement park. Going to a carnival at night. The rides and the lights. It's bedazzling. But go there in the day. When the rides are stopped and the guys that run them are this big around. You ever been to a carnival and seen pretty people running the show? I haven't. And the rides don't look the same in the day as they do when they're all lit up at night. And you hear the screams and the happiness of the riders. Same with Shanghai and Beijing. Beautiful, all lit up, modern. Go get a visa and go over there. See if you can just wander in any village or in the provinces. See if you can. You're not allowed. China doesn't want you to see the real China. You can't just go where you want. You're limited. Go to the villages. Communism has failed. It's always a fail. Communism is an enemy of the Lord. So is socialism. America's had a lot of problems, but a republic truly was and is the best way. Checks and balances, they're not working as much anymore, I've noticed. Corruption is saturated Capitol Hill. And I talk about this whole package deal because if I can go to Asia and get a pretty date, but it's like pulling teeth, it is pulling teeth. There's a weird dichotomy here in Augusta. Disgusting, smelly, bad hygiene, bad men. And women, they got a date with that. Women have an advantage in America that I don't have. Just about any woman can get a guy, even if they're gross. Not me. I mean, yeah, there's women that go out with me. They wouldn't be attractive. They wouldn't be good hygiene. They wouldn't be good quality women. They wouldn't appreciate what I appreciate here in Augusta. Then I got to go to work with a guy who believes he's a damn legend. And he's actually a loser. And people will hear what I say and they don't know the context of backstory, but I was nice to him when I first started. I respected him. And you know somebody doesn't value you when they're talking down to you. You can report it, but they've got something in their heart against you. That guy actually thinks he's la creme. Nobody likes him. Nobody. Except one owner who has not 1 ounce of discernment about this clown. And one of the black guys there told me to my face, he said, a guy like that who's a failure is going to come up with a different way. That's why brown noses management, he said, I don't care where you go in this country, management likes brown nosers. I said, are you telling me that their ego? He said, fluffing their ego, Michael. Iraq used to say, fluffing somebody's balls, powdering them. I like that. I never thought about it. I don't butt kiss. I am polite to the owners because I'm expected to do that. You don't talk back to your bosses because you can lose your job. I do my job with excellence because that's what I'm commanded to do. Whether management is fair or not. Bible tells us to do whatever we do unto God. You've been around the people that butt kiss. You've been around the people that play a game. They're rude to all these people back here because those people don't have the power to promote them. And old Joe, salt and pepper hair, his natural color's gone. He looks about 30 years older than me. And he's high and lifted up. He doesn't put in a hard day's work ever since I've been there. Wears the uniform, butt kisses. The minute a manager, oh, hi! He'll say good morning to all these people. I say good morning and he doesn't respond. The black guy in the freight office. Good morning, Joe. How are you today? What a child. And I said something to Joe. I said, did you see that? Blacks sometimes have a confidence that I don't have. He said, Mike, I don't care. Yeah, I see that. He's a butthole. I ain't going to change who I am. So he's a miserable, rude, little boy. He went up and confronted him not too long ago. Joe made a comment going to the other location in the truck in front of the black guy who's now the shipping clerk in my department. And he said, in the truck, I think they need to bring back public hangings. Yep, Joe would say something that retarded. If I'd have been in there, I'd say, good. When can we see the rope wrapped around your neck? Because you are an idiot. I don't like Joe. And I struggle with that because the Bible says to love your enemies. What do you do when you have a brother or sister supposedly in the faith who's worse than an unbeliever? I want to find the guy's address and send unsigned mail to him. Draw a big old butthole. You are here. I wouldn't do it. And you know what stops me? Wouldn't be hard to find his address here. He's childish. He butt kisses management. Today's the day they have free lunch. Well, I can't eat most of it. I work my butt off. And the person who picks up the food doesn't even bother to try to make a concession to me. And other people said that. You're one of the hardest workers here, and I can't believe that she's never come down and said, Mike, what are your allergies so I can get you something? I said, you know what? I've lived with that all my life. I bring my own food. Today I'll be sitting in my truck because I'm not going to be part of that. I like to listen to the various preachers that they pay to come in. See, our company believes something. And the reason I am what I am and why you get a benefit out of this channel is because I used to be like that. Oh, wow, our company has preachers and they're witnessing to everybody who isn't saved. Yeah, and they're chumping people on the pay. They hire people that just got out of jail, people that are homeless, put up with them a few weeks, see they're not going to work out, let them go. And they feel like they're doing service for God because they expose them to the gospel, they give them a free lunch, and they feel like I'm doing good bidding for the king. I see through that. But old Joe's sitting there, fluffing the balls of all the management in there, talking professional, playing the game. The minute he goes back to the receiving, scuff, scuff, scuff. Morning, Joe. I don't like him. Sam, I don't like him in a roller coaster car. I don't like him on the planet Mars. Just the fact he's within proximity to me vexes my soul. I went to work yesterday with a good attitude and that quick. I confronted him on the spot. I left, went out, got my phone. Supervisor, I'm sorry to bother you. I know you got an appointment today. No, it's okay. I'm letting you know what happened. Then when Clown's boss came in, I said, hey, can I talk to you? And I've never talked to him before about this. I said, let's walk. I told him everything that happened. I looked him in the eye. I said, have I ever been rude or demeaning to you? He goes, nope. I said, I come here and I work hard. And he even told me, he says, if anybody deserves a raise, Mike, you do. He said, I've seen you and you do work your butt off. He said, I know the way it can be. I will talk to him about it. I said, he probably ain't going to change. Because Joe wakes up in the morning and thinks, Mike's weird. Mike's a nobody. If you became a Christian and the basic stuff is not in you to care about other people, irregardless of their social or monetarily standing, something is missing. I treat everybody right until they show to the contrary. And yet, even in spite of that, even if they're complete jerks, I'm not going to get revenge. But I'm going to employ what I can Turn him into my supervisor, turn him into his boss. Well, now he knows he can't just do a dirty little crap. He knows that Michael immediately dispatched himself to turn that in. And I'm sure he'll lie just like he did. We have to fill out these little surveys. Your leader wants to hear from you. The little happy faces and sad faces. How was your workload this week? And I always put healthy. I'm not going to answer the lows or highs anymore. And they're going to notice that because I did it this week. What was your low this week? Normal week. What was your high this week? Normal week. And I'm putting that because it's normal down there. It doesn't matter what's going on over here. Nothing's going to be done about it. Doesn't matter that I achieved a high. Nothing's going to change about it. Another guy said, I'm not going to go sit up there and listen to them preach when they're cheap on the pay and they're showing favoritism around here. And I said, I know. And the further nail in the casket was, I don't want to go in there anymore because I saw one of the owners get rude when I asked him a simple question about painting the bathroom. I went in there to use the sink yesterday. He bought one of those mirrors with little clips. The bathroom came out beautiful. The water's already splashing up. They caulked around the edge of the sink, straight to raw wood. I said, wow, in 6 months, this wood's going to have black stains all over it. And even the freight clerk said, I was about to ask him the same thing. Why aren't you going to paint that? I told him. He shook his head and he said, you're seeing this place for what it is, aren't you? He was in the military. He drove for Coca-Cola. Sometimes he ribs me too much, but as a black man, he's a respectable human being. And you got a wiener head who grew up in a Christian school. I thought, can you imagine if he saw your video with you wearing, I don't care. If he ever came in there and said anything, you talk about this one more time, there's going to be a harassment suit, so you better back it up. You cannot do that. My very essence has touched on something in this country. There's a lot of buttholes in this country. Some of them voted for Trump. Some of them voted for Biden. Some of them are born again, raised in Christian home Christians. And people get funky over clothing. Are you a cross-dresser? Why would you ask that question? What is it that I could say that's going to sate your need to ask that? What are you wearing? You're a grown man asking me, what am I wearing? You can't tell by looking at this? It's a shirt. I am weird. Absolutely 100%. As a lesbian woman in Duluth used to tell me, Sue, she drove bus, you're so very odd. But guess what? She thought I was so very odd, and then one day she shocked me. Can I give you a ride? I said, are you sure? I used to take the bus. And you know what she said to me? I want to get out of this relationship with Michelle. I'm like in her Celica going, what? I said, okay. And I was friends with Michelle. They were both lesbian lovers. They bought matching Celicas, with the notchback. Those were pretty cool cars. She said, I don't want to hurt her feelings, but she's going to be mad. I said, oh, she's going to be mad, but you do need to sit down and have a talk with her and say, I don't want to do this anymore. That's your right. Michelle saw her give me a ride one day. followed us down in front of my apartment on Lake and Fourth and rear-ended the car while we were sitting in it. She tapped it. I turned around. I'm like, who just hit us? She goes, Michelle. I said, that ain't. I opened the door. I said, man, what is your problem? Get away from her. I said, she offered me a ride. I had never said anything. I called her Buffy. I never said anything to Buffy about, never talked to her about. The only thing I told her is years ago, I said, well, I understand homosexual desires, but the Bible says it's wrong, and I accept you as a friend. But I never preached at her. You take your GD salvation and get away. I said, hold on here. You and her need to talk. She offered me a ride. I have nothing to do. I'm not moving it on your territory, lady. Sue told me she was interested in me. I was not interested in her that way. A lot of lesbian women aren't what I call pretty. There's two different categories of lesbians. There's your butch lesbians that look like wannabe dudes, ball cap, sweaty. They look like they could be an umpire at a men's baseball game. Or you got your lipstick lesbians. Now, I like lipstick lesbians because it's erotic. But there's a weird dichotomy in that. Men, and many men I've talked to have admitted they'd like to see two pretty women being intimate. It's beautiful. I watched a video today, showed mature Japanese women dressed up, tongue kissing each other. It's beautiful. It's wrong. It's wrong in God's eyes. It's sin. But watch this. America is the number one producer of porn in the world. America. You know, the one with the Judeo-Christian ethic. Why is that? Well, I'm going to give you some answers that might shock you. America is falling apart from within. Russia said it a long time ago. We'll never have to take them by force. They'll fall from within, and we see it. The Democratic Party is the termites of this country. They're just eating away the framework of this nation. And they did it through Hollywood. They did it through media. They did it through the public schools. Nah, there is no God, there's evolution. Evidence, please. Oh, we got tons of it. Where is it? Well, quantum physics. Quantum physics doesn't prove evolution. Keep digging, keep digging, keep digging in the trash can to find that bone that isn't there. Fossil record and the living record both deny evolution. People say that the Grand Canyon was formed by the Colorado River flowing for millions of years to dig that big hole. And it had to flow uphill, by the way, because you got tectonic uplift, and yet the water goes this way. No, that was the flood. Something called Noah and an ark. And when the flood, it says in Psalms, I'd have to look it up, at your rebuke, the waters roared from the face of the earth. The valleys rose up and the mountains sank down. And the waters roared from the face of the earth. That part of America is a lot of sediment and sandstone. Sandstone was sand once. When it got wet and it was under tons and tons of pressure, it turned into sandstone. A lot of flagstone. I've worked with flagstone, and flagstone has rhododendron ferns fossilized in it. I've seen it. I've worked with it. Had to break it and fit it. Laid out a patio for a gal I was dating. She paid me to do a flagstone patio. Sedimentary rock is the weakest. Igneous is volcanic, and metamorphic is your hard stuff. Clearly, the erosion in the Grand Canyon happened massively and quickly. People hide behind the word scientist. Laughable. Did you know you can go to university in the U.S. and you can go to the University of Beijing and they're teaching the same thing? Did that ever dawn on you? You pay for that, by the way. You pay to go load your brain with a bunch of garbage. So, why is it the universities on a global level are all in the same mental thought process? The world system. And you can go to China and get indoctrinated there, or you go to America and get indoctrinated here. Princeton, Harvard, Yale, Cambridge. You go overseas, prestigious U's, they're all on the same page. Godless, Christ rejecting, laugh at the Bible. How do you deal with a Joe? Y'all got him in your life. How do you deal with a brother who you want to go up to, but you cannot? It's like there's barbed wire all around this thing. He's friends with one of the owners. If I push too hard, I'm going to get in trouble. But I want to say there is nothing in your life that even remotely reflects that you are a child of the King. You're miserable. You drive everybody out of here. Nobody wants to work with you. And then you're judging me. I come here with a happy-go-lucky attitude. I work my butt off. And I got to deal with your BS. I'd love to be manager. The first day I'd say, you're fired. Add that to your resume. You see, I struggle as a Christian because I prayed for these kinds of things and nothing happens. People don't like it when I say that. God does not always answer our prayers according to moi. We have to face that. Why? For the same reason that God doesn't come down and flip a switch in me and make me perfectly holy in every day-to-day thought, word, and deed. God's not going to come down and get this close to Joe's face and say, you're bothering one of my servants and you better stop it. He's not going to do that. He's not going to. We're in a different dispensation. God doesn't just show up and say, Joe, why don't you push against me, you big bully? He's not going to do it. We walk by faith. And sometimes our faith is shaken by the fact that some of the most hurtful, shisty behavior comes from brothers and sisters. I'm so proud, I'm a part. Oh, no. I'm so glad I'm a part of the family of God. No, I'm not. Joe's that bro that I don't want to know. He's a brother from another mother, and he's white. I don't like Joe. But Michael, here we go. You're supposed to love your enemies. We were enemies of God, and Jesus, okay, you go ahead and love them. You go over there and lovey-dovey Joe for me. Well, no, you go do it. So watch this. The anti-Trumpers now are praising China. Read the comments on the internet. We got dangerous, scary people living in America claiming they support freedom. China's got warships going down in Hormuz, and they've made it clear America's trying to block the places so Iran can't get out oil. There's only one problem with that. China's ships are going in and out of there and getting it. I'm asking for every Christian listening to me, you need to pray. You need to put aside your BS, either for or against Trump, and you need to pray that God protects us, because if we fire at one of their warships, there's going to be a problem. If they fire at one of ours, there's going to be a problem. And before all you big macho, wannabe macho men Americans, oh, we got the greatest military. Not any more than China. Bible tells us, pray for those in authority that we may live peaceable lives. Things are not peaceful right now. Christian church, put your politics away and say, God, this is not good. We need your hand to intervene against all of these authorities. We need you to come down and say, not today. You know, we have lived. We're a very petty nation. We have lived for a long time without stuff. We don't know what it's like to be in Croatia, Mogadishu, Vietnam. We don't know. We got gangsters shooting guns, but we don't have shells and mortars outside our homes. You know what that would do to the American psyche? Imagine if they sent a missile to New York City. I mean, took it out. Manhattan, the news networks, there won't be no Good Morning America. It'll be more like Good Morning Vietnam. Ah! Imagine you're at work and you get in your truck to go home and you see a bunch of planes fly over and bombs are falling. Guess I won't be going home to let the dog out. Americans have got to retool their thinking. Stop thinking it won't happen. God is a God of grace. And God said in his word, he will not strive with man forever. And the flood came. Old Joe represents a lot of Christians in America. They got saved and they stopped right there. It's funny, I come on this channel and many of you are thanking God for how he's using me. I go to work. Joe doesn't value me. He doesn't work as hard as me. He hasn't had the life experiences I have. He's rude. He's unkind. He's a jerk. He's arrogant. That bothers me. I started saying, God, please get him out of here. My prayers are motivated by my flesh. I'm not going to pray, God bless him. I don't believe I need to. Bible says, bless those who persecute. I cannot bless that man. You're a Christian. You should know better. The freight clerk one day said, he believes he's going to eat dinner with Donald Trump. I said, he's an idiot. I said, Trump isn't going to go to his house, my house, or anybody's house. Why is it that there's Christians that are so blind to the basics? Joe get up and actually think he's pleasing God by that? Maybe he doesn't even think that. Maybe he doesn't care. I don't hear him talk about the Lord at all. He brags that he's got a girlfriend. I go to the water cooler to get some water because we don't have a drinking fountain there. Of course, the only water cooler is right where he takes his dang breaks. I have to walk around him to get back to it. We got a new bathroom. I'm just going to fill it out of that from now on. No, not the toilet, the faucet. He's looking at his phone. And I'm like, look at Joe looking at naked women. Nice pictures, Joe, I said. And he chuckled nervously. He says, yeah, I'm still human. I said, we all are, Joe. And I walked away. But he's not human to me. He's a moron. Obviously, that girlfriend ain't cutting the mustard. That's what I wanted to say. Who would date Joe? I haven't had a girlfriend in 8 years in Augusta. They're not banging about. Who would date Joe? Life is a contradiction. I'm better looking than he is. I got energy squared over him. He can't even pick up his feet. How does he get that limp dish rag between his legs to even get up for her? Sorry. I'm like, women really do pick bad dudes. Losers. People say, Michael always talks about people. Andrew Drescher likes to do that. Michael talks about everybody. Yep, and I talk about you, clown. And I talk about myself. See, the thing is, I allow for people to be imperfect, because I am. But when you're harassing, persecuting, being rude to me, I don't care who you are, you don't got that right. You certainly don't have a biblical mandate to do that. I've done nothing to warrant that. It's crazy. But back to China. A lot of Americans are ignorant about what's going on right now. You got channels all over YouTube saying we're losing. Iran has hit some of our ships. I don't know what the truth is because there's a lot of back and forth. And as the best as I can ascertain, Donald Trump has stepped in a pile of poo. Netanyahu, they're claiming he hit some NATO troops when they fired at something. This is not good. And where we're at right now, sometimes as a leader, you might want to just stand up and say, we're pulling out. It bothers me because Trump got in office and somebody came into my chat one day and said, ask not what your government can do for you, but ask what you can do for your government. Saying that on the heels of me saying, well, the prices didn't go down. I don't expect Trump to give us cash cow, but he said, drill, baby, drill. The gas prices did not come down a whole lot. Now, because of what Trump is doing, no matter how you choose to look at this, gas is or diesel $6 a gallon in Ohio. It's ridiculous. The problem is when Washington makes a decision to do something, we pay for it. Us blue-collar folks. And that ain't right. Iran is a messy country. China is evil. Venezuela is evil. They're all in cahoots. And the Democrats are praising, go China, go Iran. Hey, Democrats, move over there. We got people living here that want to see America get a black eye from these countries. I don't. Because that will affect all of us. I mean, I don't personally care if Good Morning America gets knocked off the air. No loss. I'd like to see The View go. Meaning that it doesn't exist anymore, the show. It's a sad country when you have a show like The View with women that have never worked as hard as I have for peanut pay, and they're going to sit on that show and they spend more for their ugly clothing and their glopped on makeup than I do just to live in a year. And they're not telling us the truth. They're not doing America good. It's crap. The View is the worst TV show in the history of America. It is not The View. It is A View, and it is way off. Whoopi Goldberg is not exactly the epitome of physical specimen. And I love how you get these ugly, not so nice women on a TV show that act like they're authorities on everything. They don't know a damn thing. They don't even have a good ability to pick the right clothing and the right makeup. And Whoopi Goldberg, I've seen more emojis about her. I have no respect for women like that, nor should anybody else. They're middle school girls that never grew up. You think I don't look back on my oat sewing I did in Southeast Asia? You think I don't long to return to, gosh, I could have a sweet, slender gal just love on me, eat together, sleep together, and be in harmony. Here, dating is a nightmare. The interview, the interrogation process. I'm older now, so I've lost some of my inhibitions. If I ever take a woman to a restaurant and she starts that, say, excuse me, I gotta go to the bathroom. If I'm done with my meal, I'm gonna go up and pay the bill. I'm gonna walk out the door and get in my truck. And she can sit there and go, wow, what's taking them so long in the bathroom? And the waiter can come and tell you, I think your date walked out of here. Bye! I don't need a woman that bad. I'm not bowing to that no more. Women have become so self-righteous. If we got to pass their bar exam, I'm a man. Women need to pass my bar exam, not the other way around. And women have forgotten that. The Bible says, I will make a helper suitable for him. Not her. Him. Now today, the Christian faith is polluted with feminism. Well, men, you need to love your wives as Christ loved the church. Oh, okay, so now we got to play bowsy-wowsy to the women. That's really working out. I saw a video, don't remember his name, but I subbed to him last night. He saw a woman tell her husband, can you go back to my car and get my water bottle? And as he's walking back, he heard her say to the kid that was under 10 years old, your dad is such a moron. Disrespecting him in front of a little kid. Then she got mad at him in the store because a clerk talked rudely to her. You didn't stand up for me. Did you hear the way you just talked about me? See, I'm different. I won't put up a woman. If she disrespects me, I will look in the eye and say, get away from me. We're done. My turnaround time is fast now. I have no interest. Women have become too big for their britches in this society, and they want their perfect man, and they want a man who's this, that. I'm not interested. I'm done. Most women today have nothing to give a man. Nothing but a headache. Now, to be fair, I was overseas. The women over there bring their own issues to the table, too. A lot of Filipinos were drama queens. They get with their lady friends, and they go on and on about their man. And I learned something. Women are mother hens wherever they go. You get a bunch of hens in a hen house, watch out, boys. You walk in there, you're going to get beaked and plucked, and it's ugly. But feminine and sweet, that still existed over there. I don't even know if that exists over here anymore. I just honestly don't know. And even for me, it's exhausting. And as a Christian, I'm supposed to live this Christ-like life. It's very difficult. I want to walk up to Joe and say, let me tell you something, your mother. I don't like you. You're an a-hole. I don't see one shred of Christian virtue in you. You're a butt kisser to management. You don't even work. You don't even put out in a day what I put out in 2 hours. You're a joke, dude. And you got this arrogant high-mindedness. Have you looked at your truck? You even admitted you haven't paid your property taxes in 2 years. What's going on there, big guy? You got acreage, you got a donkey. Maybe you had to ride it to work. I don't like people looking down on me. I don't like it. I don't care if I'm not the owner of a Fortune 500 company. They're not better than me. The older I get, and I see it even with this company I'm with, most people that get rich do it through unethical means. It's crazy. And then when people start asking for raise, then they start watching us with a fine tooth comb. Oh, you made a mistake. Oh, you made a mistake. Oh, see, that's how you keep you from getting a raise. Your leader wants to hear from you. Why? Is it going to change a damn thing? Of course it isn't. I'm slow. Don't take the clickbait. Fill out the survey. Do not talk about your complaints at all. Go to your supervisor direct. Don't do it here. Mike, I notice you keep saying normal work week. It is. What do you mean by that? Because the same bulk goes on every week. So that's normal. That doesn't do any good for me to talk about it. It just puts a target on my back, and I'm not interested in that. My raise is going to be dependent on an evaluation every year. What if the boss is having a moody moment and rates me low? So I don't get a raise even though I've done far superior to anybody you had in this position for getting the bulk of stuff out? You know what? No. What I'm going to pray for is that God convicts them to stop being cheap. Then God opens up a door for me eventually, somewhere else. And I'm learning that you have to treat God as your boss, not your boss as your boss. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of Christians that are greedy. A lot of Christians that love money more than principle and scruples. A lot of Christians that treat us like a bunch of damn slaves. And the Bible has something to say about masters. I tell you what, is God a caste system? No. There's going to be people in the kingdom of God that you and I have never heard of. Some man from India you've never heard of that lived in a very poverty-laden village but came to Christ and was used by God in a massive way. And I could see American Christians standing in the kingdom. Who's that? Never saw him on TV. He wasn't on TV. I'm sorry, but you're not going to hear God shout out the ones that are on the TV. America is going to be the most surprised group of Christians out there. There's going to be very little praise for us. there's going to be praise for those that were in the underground church in China and Russia and Iran. America's got a very high opinion of itself. Christians have a very high opinion of themselves. Look at all the people that come at me with hatred because of a piece of clothing. They want to reiterate that I'm an abomination to God. They don't talk about any of the other parts of the law where they got that from. Children cursing their parents. They don't talk about that. I'm not calling it smart, but God gave me a mind to see through this stuff. You know, most people can't see the trees through the forest. A woman was on my channel months ago. She has her own videos from the basement of her mother-in-law's home. Or I'm not sure what the relation is. Her husband is unemployed. She said, "Oh, my husband would love to be friends with you." I get very nervous about that. I say, "Oh, you're married. I didn't know that part." I'm not comfortable with most men because most men, well, they me and them aren't compatible, just even on a friendship level. She told me to call her one day, and I called her. We talked. And I told her, I said, you and your husband need to get your own place, because it sounds to me like he's not being the head of the house down there with this domineering relative. And she wanted to move down here when I lost my job. And at first I'm like, she goes, I make enough. I can pay you rent. And then I stopped and thought, no. And I admit, if it was just her and she wasn't married, I would have said, cool. She can take care of herself. I don't want a husband and wife in here. I'm not comfortable with that one. Because I'm the head of my house. This is my property. But now you got husband and wife in here? There's going to be problems. So I said, I'm not keen on that one. I said, your husband and you need to find your own place. He got mad. I don't know what she said to him, but she wanted me to call. We talked. He left a message from her phone to mine. You better stop talking to my wife, or I'm going to make your life worse than it was. Oh, now we got a little chicken wussy going to threaten me on the phone. Unemployed, living in the basement of a relative's house, is going to play tough guy out of Cleveland. And I don't remember what I said back to him. I said, oh, don't worry. I won't be talking to your wife, but don't threaten me. You come down here and try to do something to me, I promise you to be the last time you do it again. What an idiot. So I blocked her. Or I blocked the number. She recently came back on my channel and said, you want a divorce? By the way, I was dressing with the feminine tops. She never said anything about it. She quoted Deuteronomy 22:5. And I started to write, hey, didn't your husband tell me to stop talking to you? What are you doing on my channel? I said, no, just delete her, block her. I tell you what, Christians, you cannot just trust them either. You got to be very careful. Watch this. I'm going to throw in some bonus extra credit fun for free. I consider myself a decent human being, but if you lived with me and I live with you, chances are we get tired of each other after a bit. Familiarity breeds contempt. I like our community here. After Helene, I met neighbors that I didn't even know. After the power came on 6 days later, I don't see any of those people anymore. You got to ask, why do people get in a relationship? Many do it for a life preserver. Many do it because they can't get their collective crap together. You know why I wanted a relationship? Because I do want a woman as a friend. I'm fascinated by women, but I also want a sexual release. And I found when you're involved with a woman, you have less and less sexual release and more headaches and frustration. I'm like, so why not look at some images on the internet, rub one out, and go on about my day? And women have been doing this for a couple decades now. I don't need a man. Well, we don't need a woman either. And yet deep down inside, I want somebody, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. But I go, is that even realistic anymore? Now, the Bible in Romans says something interesting about the whole homosexual thing. For this reason, God gave them over to degrading passions for their women, exchanged the natural function for that which is unnatural. In the same way, also the men abandoned the natural function of the women and burned in their desire towards one another, men with men committing indecent acts and receiving in their own persons the due penalty of their error. He deals with lesbian and homosexual right there. He calls it unnatural. And yet, strangely enough, because of the twisted ways and the twisted world we live in, I see two women tongue kissing. They're sweeter to each other than a man or a woman are. They're more passionate than a man and a woman. I have seen, and I'm not talking about videos where they're acting. You can tell the people that are faking it. You can tell the ones that are genuine. I'm not going to unpack all that on here because it gets into the inappropriate. You can tell the people that are genuinely getting aroused by each other. God calls it unnatural. But watch this. Women today have just done this over and over to men. Most of the marriages are ending in divorce. And if you listen to the women, it's all, according to the women in America, it's all the men's fault. Always the man's fault. But then you start to see what's going on. Lesbianism is exploding across the landscape. Not just here, but in India and other countries and the Philippines. When I was in Hong Kong, a lot of the domestic helpers, the family will hire two women and they give them a room that's the size of my closet. Women are married. They come to Hong Kong to make more money. They're away from their husbands. And they start experimenting with each other because they feel like, well, I don't have to worry about getting pregnant. Lot of lesbian behavior in Hong Kong. And the woman that I was with was so rude to me. And then I saw her dance with another woman that she didn't know. I saw that woman come alive with a woman dancing that she never displayed with me ever. And I started to go, is Beth a lesbian? Yeah, probably. She just wanted a vehicle to get to the United States. She was against affairs because her father cheated on her mother. That was the first conversation we had when I met her on Mate 1. She brought all that up. I spent 4 years involved with her. 13 months between 3 trips in Hong Kong. Beth's best friend in Hong Kong was Irene, a 30-year-old beautiful Filipino woman. Irene was very nice to me. On her day off, she'd go down to Central Hong Kong, and she was practicing dancing to Poker Face. She was going to join a dance competition, which I ended up watching her. She did very well. She's married to a man in the Philippines. She was cheating with an older Filipino male who went by Boy. I don't know what his name was. And he was nice to me. But they were both married to people. And I said to Beth, I said, you talk about all this cheating and stuff. Irene, yeah, I know, but, Irene nice and she good. And, she away from her husband. I said, oh, so it's okay. I said, you always accusing me of cheating and I haven't cheated on you. And then Leo, the Filipino who rented in my flat in Chongwon on BYRD Street, Bird Street, basically an alley. Boy, talk about a raggedy building. Cement, probably didn't even have any rebar. There were big cracks in the cement. And the shower drain drained right 4 stories into the alley. And there were awnings underneath me with tarps and a bunch of junk stored up behind somebody's abode. And the water just spattered down on there. And I'm like, wow, does the toilet go down there too? Every time I was showering, it was raining on somebody's stuff down below. Cute. Leo was very nice to me. He said, your wife is not good. I hear the way she talked to you. He said, in my culture, the man is the head of the house. There was a hot Filipino woman that come over with a shrimpy tube top on, and she was smoking hot. He looked me right in the eye and said, Mike, I have a good wife, but I've been here 2 years and my employer not let me go home. And yeah, I cheat. She's my mistress. And Beth liked the mistress. We're walking one day. She goes, I like her. She good. I said, what did you say about Leo? Every time she came over, you said he cheat. I said, why is he the bad guy, but she's not? She nice. I said, Leo's nice to you and me. What's the difference? Beth had feminism coursing through her damn veins as a Filipina, and she grew up watching Hollywood. She thought that all of us lived like Hollywood. I had to burst her bubble and translate in Hong Kong dollar how much I make, how much I spend for electric, gas, pickup truck repairs, insurance, blah, blah, blah. And then the light bulb came on. She goes, so you not rich? No. Wow, why you think you can get me? I said, you make $400 US a month as a domestic helper. I make, let's see, 3 times that in 2 weeks? Okay. Catfish, catfish. I like catfish. Not that kind, but the one in the skillet heated on butter, salt, and pepper. I've experienced being catfished, and it dawned on me more and more, why is everything not working? She wasn't honest. Then it began to show. It took 4 years for me to see who and what she was. Same thing, men and women. You get involved with somebody over here, you could be marrying a Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh, he's so suave and so nice. And he's sneaking out at night when you're asleep and killing women in their beds. Isn't that fun? The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? That's what the Bible says. You cannot even know your own heart. And as a Christian, God will take you on a journey to start to know it. It's intimidating and it's scary because you will start to see some crap in there that you're like, that's him. Yep, it's in you. Women are not sugar and spice and everything nice. That's a lie. Bible says all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. In America, women tend to believe that they are superior to us in every way. That's a fact. It's in the advertising. It's in everything. You see it all over YouTube. Michael is in his kitchen dancing, having fun, and a bunch of simp, gross, disgusting males come out here. What the F is wrong with this guy? Oh, but your woman can do this and do that in the nightclub and do it, and you don't say anything. But me, I'm being loose to be free in my own house, and you shouldn't even be commenting to me. I ain't dancing for you boys. I'm dancing because I like to. And some women like it. They're encouraged by it. They like to see my happy, carefree videos. It just amazes me. I met more well-adjusted men in Hong Kong than I ever met in America in my entire 60 years. Macho, masculine, muscly, ripped Filipinos. Men from Ethiopia, men from Pakistan, men from India. They weren't gay. They didn't hit on me. They were well-adjusted males. The Japanese antique dealer. He'd show up at karaoke every so often. Michael, how are you? I said, good. How's business? I got some stuff from Tibet. I mean, we talk about stuff. The guy was very smart. I said, what is you, Japanese in Hong Kong? He says, I like it here. I think a lot of American men are jerks. I look at Joe. I used to believe when you're a Christian, wow, I'm so glad I'm a part. What a gay song. I'm the family of God. I'm not. The family of God part, but that family, no. I've gone to church after church in this country. They're cold as a morgue. At least in a morgue, it's quiet. At least I can be alone with my thoughts. You go to church and you got weirdos in there. Unkind, unpleasant weirdos. That they're godly and think they're walking tight with Jesus and can't even say good morning to you. Some old crusty couple in there. I'm not even talking to him. Stick to your day job, Mike. Stick to your day job. You know, get all the beard hairs out of your mouth, you gross old oaf. You and your wife both look like poster children for why you shouldn't get married. You're both unhappy with each other. You're both this big. You both look like you stepped off the stage production for Oompa Loompa. And then you're going to come over here and be rude to me, and I've never done anything to you. What is wrong with men in this country? They don't just leave well enough alone. There's a rare exotic animal run loose, they'd hunt it down and kill it. And I see that with me. I'm different. So they got to malign. They got to abuse. They got to say rude things. You're not allowed to be unique. You're not allowed to soar free in a country full of miserable, hateful, shitty people. And that's Joe's problem. Joe thinks he's the definition of I don't know what. You pay $50 a month for the uniform just so you can make a good show. You don't work as hard as me. You don't have the attitude I have. You haven't been where I've been. You don't have a channel. Nobody wants to listen to you. You're not reaching nobody. And I'd love to say that to him. Joe, did you know there's 12,000 people that subscribe to my channel? Did you know I had 70,000 people tuning in on New Year's Day? I bet you couldn't get 100 people in Hesima seated around you, sitting at your feet, listening to anything that comes out of your mouth. And it's not, please don't take that as I'm bragging. It's only now because of the internet that I begin to realize that, you know what? You can still have a community. But I don't live with these pretty women on my channel. I don't live with the guys that are on my channel. They don't live with me. I like being alone and I don't like being alone. It's the dichotomy that's the bitter-edged sword. I want a woman, but I don't want a woman. I don't want the crap that goes with it. It's like sitting on the dock, fish or cut bait, fish or cut bait. She loves me not. The dating process is like trying to apply for a job. It sucks. But my turnaround time's getting better. 3 hours of my Saturday being wasted with a texting queen revealed a lot. And I didn't even have to go on one date to see all that. She didn't show up at church. And that stands to reason. Because she's going to go to a place that believes in the false crap she believes in. And she'll get involved with another man and it'll go south. Because wherever she goes, there she is. She's looking for perfection. She's not only not perfection herself. I think I'm a good guy. I think that a woman like her that had been through abuse would have been good with a guy like me. But the problem is, women go through an abusive relationship and then they come out being really feminist. Well, I have guns. I mean, she's telling me in the texting, if you're looking for your next victim, you better move on. I said, excuse me, ma'am. I don't do that. I should have typed this. Sounds like you're still playing the victim. I'm not interested in dating victims. You have a nice day. Learn, Michael. The next time somebody types that, go past your wiener, go past your lust, and end it right there. End it. Because too many women go through a bad relationship and look at every man through that lens. You cannot do that, ladies. Just because you dated a clown doesn't mean that I got to be treated like one. That you have yourself to blame. You screaming, yo, he was violent. Did you vet him? Did you get to know him before you took your pants off? Well, that's funny. You go on a vacation, you're going to read about where to stay, where not to stay. But when you date a guy, you don't even check him. Oh, honey. Oh. Yeah. It's funny. We're less cautious about that. It's stupid. Dating in the U.S. is like being in Mogadishu where there's landmines everywhere. You got to watch where you step. You can blow your foot off. That right there is why we're the leading #1 nation for adult material. I can look at an image or video. Didn't bond with anybody. No drama. No feedback, pushback. What is the difference between going with a prostitute and going on a date? You'll spend several $100s and then she'll open up her clothes for you. You spend $100 and you can get right to the kahuna on the first shot with a prostitute. And we men have realized that I don't do prostitutes. I did several years ago. I did a couple in Prostitute on the Sprague. It was a very enlightening experience. And I'm glad I did it because even though it's wrong to God, I'm not happy that I displeased the Lord. But it taught me something. The harlot reduces you to a loaf of bread. They don't love you. They're doing it for their money. And I found that when you got up closer, there was one of the prostitutes that I was with, she was drop dead gorgeous. There was a couple of them that were very pretty. One was black. She was stunning. The other one was white. I took her to dinner a couple times. Didn't even have sex with her. Because I'm like an investigative reporter. I want to find out. I would like to watch two beautiful women make love to each other just to watch it and record my observations. Michael, that's so wrong. It is wrong. shows what Christians are doing to other Christians, and they don't have any conviction. People get on my channel and complain about the way I dress, and they will not throw one piece of scripture at a guy like Joe doing what he's doing when I come to work happy-go-lucky in a job that kind of sucks. All I'm doing is making 3 people rich. That's it. And they're already rich. And I come and try to have a Christ-like attitude, and you got to work with a nitwit brother who somebody needs to pull his pants down and paddle his butt. I get tired of that. I get sick and tired of people that go on about the shirt I'm wearing. My son, who did me a lot of wrong, and I didn't do anything to deserve that ever. His mother caused irreparable damage. And now that son's going to judge me because I'm wearing a female top. Excuse me. Sons don't have rights over dad. We're several thousand miles apart. Stay in your lane. You want to see the man side of me? You're going to see it if you keep pushing. Don't bother me. You worry about you being a man. Don't worry about me. We don't have a relationship. That's been San Andreas by you and your mom. I want peace in my life. I've got time for your all female drama. All of this is a result of your old mama. And I'm done with it. You don't like the way I dress? Don't watch my videos. Use your brain. Turn it off. So tired of this stuff. You want to quote scripture? Go quote scripture to the guy I work with about the way he's treating me, and I've never done anything. Bible tells me I'm supposed to go up and tell him his offense. I can't do that. Go up and tell a Christian when they're doing wrong. They'll look at you like, huh? What are you thinking that? I swear. And I'm not making fun of handicapped people. But there's a lot of retarded Christians out there, and I'm not talking special needs. I'll work with special needs people in a minute over so-called normal. Americans love to judge packaging. They don't judge this. And Americans run their mouth about China and Russia. You don't know what you're talking about, clowns. And you got all these Democrat, anti-Trump, Trump derangement syndrome people. That is a real deal, by the way, TDS. I don't think Trump is perfect, and he's made a big mistake getting involved in this. And if I'm wrong for saying that, I'll admit it. I don't believe I am. He stepped in poo. And it's not the kind you can wipe off your shoe. This is messy. This is not good. China is going to call our bluff. They're sending their ships down. Trump's blockading everything. What are you going to do about that? You cannot tell China they cannot go down there and get oil. You cannot do that. This is not a good situation, folks. I would appreciate it if you'd pray for my son that he would remember the crappy things he did and take ownership for that and be a man. I ask that you pray for my son that he'd get out on his own and become a man and stop hassling me. I pray that you, my viewers, would pray for my ex-wife, that God would make her come to an awareness of what she's done that is wrong. I cannot believe how many Christian women have no clue about the truckload and cargo ship loads of sin that they do, and they don't get it. Women are abusive when they don't recognize that they've wronged us. That is a form of abuse. You don't have an ounce of discernment. You can't see the crap you just did. You let a 21-year-old live with a 14-year-old who was poonging them? Did you ever own up? Did you ever apologize to me? Did my son come and admit that that was going on? No. All you clowns worrying about my shirt, Bug off. Oh my gosh, bug off. You need an alignment because you're way off. But this crap with Trump has gotten deep, and I'm concerned. I don't get a good wage as it is, and these prices keep going up, and our company wants to make maximum profits and no benefit to us. We're living in a day and age where a lot of people work full time and cannot afford rent. Now, I don't believe in asking my country what it can do for me, but I would expect our political leaders to be aware of the gouging and the greed that is going on and do something about it. We're in trouble in this country. And you got a lot of people acting like they're in la la land in this country because they're wealthy. The politicians that are doing all this stuff don't have to worry about whether they're going to buy a can of tuna or hamburger helper or whatever. Trump, Biden's, the Obamas, they don't think twice about going to the store and loading up what they want to eat. We do. Do I go to the dang mechanic to have the blender motor replaced? I tried. It didn't switch back over, which means the shaft is, I don't know how to get that out. Just to get the damper to work, to have a few minutes of AC in my truck running my errands could cost me $1,000. Yeah, you can drive with the windows down even though you're dripping wet hot. I shouldn't have to live like that. But our country is jacked up. And now we're going to play with China. I don't think the U.S. is in a position to take on a superpower. Our people suck. Not all, but most. I can't go to work and do my job without an asshole being an ass for no reason. And if he does it again, I'm going to say, you know, Joe, I have turned you over to God. I'm going to say it because there's something wrong with you. You say you're a Christian. I don't see any evidence of that in the way you treat me, and I've done nothing to warrant this. You got issues. I would love to go further and say it's funny. Everybody you've trained has either gotten fired or left your department or quit. And it keeps happening. You just lost that girl yesterday. Now you can be over there all by yourself again. Keep coming against me, and I will come against you in prayer. One, because you're a child of God. And you're fighting a brother who has not meant you ill will. So I'm going to come against you in prayer. Have fun. You think your job's rough? I'm going to pray that God turns on the heat. You either change your attitude or he drives you out of this place. And then they can put me in that department and I'll see if I can figure it out. I don't want to, but if it comes to that, I will. I told my supervisor that. I said, I don't want that job. But if I got it, I'm not going to treat people like that. He goes, oh, I know that. I know you wouldn't. He said, you probably run it better. I said, I don't even want to deal with that mess back there. I said, it's kind of the butthole of the company. The whole position is not fair. They don't have enough people back there. Life is a struggle. It is not a highway. Contrary to the Cars song, it is a struggle. If it is a highway, it's road closures, it's icy roads, it's potholes, it's vehicles in front of you that have wrecked and you can't go through and you got to stop and wait. Life is not a highway all night long. It's fits and starts, it's falling off your horse. Dealing with other Christians can be as painful as dealing with Democrats. I hate to say this, Paul was dealing with the church at Corinth, and look at what they had going on over there. They were acting like a bunch of blooming idiots. Somebody wrote on my channel, you better be careful because God's probably going to tell you, depart from me, I never knew you. No, he isn't. I'm not claiming to do mighty works for God. I'm saved by the blood of the Lamb. And if I'm not saved by the blood of the Lamb, then nobody is. Because I put my faith in his sacrifice. And if that is not how we get saved, nobody's going to get to heaven, because Paul says no flesh shall be justified by the law. Okay, if that's what it says, so how are we going to get there? Dotting your I's and crossing your T's. Didn't Paul establish I was a Pharisee of Pharisees, a Hebrew of Hebrews, circumcised the 8th day? It didn't matter. Jesus showed up on the Damascus Road and said, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? Paul was deeply religious. He was lost. I'm not lost. If you think that I'm going to hell because I'm doing this, you do not know your Bible. You got Christians on my channel that have no problem having premarital sex. Not 1 ounce of conviction about it. Their sex drive is Lord, not God. And you're worried about me wearing a top. That's why I'm going to do it and keep doing it, because Americans get caught over trifles. They're gnat inspectors while swallowing camels. And I'm going to do that to prove a point. And if you don't like the way I do what I do, don't watch it. I won't be beautiful always. And there's people that don't think I'm beautiful. That's cool. Most of the people that are criticizing my looks are gross themselves. I don't think I'm gross. So there you go. China's not a good country. They're a godless nation. So is America. But we have a lot of Christians here. But it is possible that in China there are more underground Christians that are serious about their faith than there are Christians in the U.S. Think about that. Gotta go. I would appreciate your prayers. I will not tell you how to pray. I ask that you pray for my son. I ask that you pray for my ex, and I ask that you pray for me. And I will allow God to lead you as to how you ought to pray. For those that have a problem with the way I dress, please get off of my channel. Please go find something else to do. Go get a box of crayons. You can go buy those old McCall's magazines and cut out the pattern and sew a dress. I mean, you can buy a model airplanes. You can put together Revell 1/18 scale car models. I mean, go find something to do that's more productive. Go be a missionary. Go to Africa and reach a tribe with the gospel. You're so holy and pious. Get out there and get something going. But you nameless, faceless trolls on the internet going on about my dressing, show me what ministry you're involved in. Show me how you're transforming lives. I don't see it. At least I'm on here telling the truth about me being blatantly and brutally honest. If you can't handle that, if you don't like the fact that I've got a feminine side and I've got a little sensual side, I'm just not going to play pretend, then this isn't for you. Hammering and yammering and fussing and cussing at me, quoting scripture isn't going to change a thing. If you're so godly and you're so pious, go into your prayer closet, shut the door, and say, God, I pray for Michael Nelson. Okay? Do you hear what I'm saying? But make sure you pray for you. Say, God, I know I can be blind to my own sins. Please show me my sins before I rip Michael apart. And if you haven't gotten mastery over your sins, stop complaining about the clothes I'm wearing, because it's just an article of clothing. Smoking marijuana and then jumping on me for wearing a female shirt, that's hysterical. Having sex with your girlfriend outside of marriage and judging me for dressing like a woman, that's funny. That's really hilarious. living with your mommy and riding around in your friends' pickup trucks and collecting guns instead of getting your own place, and going from job to job and judging your dad when you were disrespectful and cursed him many times for no God-given reason. That's really funny. I'm done. I'm scarred. I'm sick of all this. And the people who've left the scars in my life that are Christians have never felt the need to confess it, to deal with it. That's America for you. They do it on the road. Cut 2 inches in front of you, slam on the brakes, no signal, you honk, and they go like this. That's called cumulative damage. People not taking ownership for their crap. And Americans are jaded, and they're calloused, and they're cynical, and they're rude. I'd rather go back to Hong Kong and have some well-adjusted male friends from Pakistan, from Ethiopia, from India, from the Philippines, because you know what? They were down-to-earth people that didn't look down their nose at me, and I didn't look down my nose at them. I've heard a lot of people say a bunch of crap about Pakistan. I left a comment on a channel by a Pakistani. I couldn't believe how steep and majestic the mountains were with the snow, and mountains that make the Colorado Rockies look like kindergarten. I said, what beautiful scenery. And the guy wrote me, said, thank you so much. If God called me to go to Pakistan and I had Pakistani friends and I had the love of God there, I'm going. I'm sick and tired of hearing people say, make America great again. Great at what? Being assholes? That's all I see. I go to work. Assholes, rich people, cheap on wages, a Christian brother being rude consistently to me, but to nobody else. What did I do? No, this country isn't great. And Donald Trump ain't making it great. And the prayers that we pray aren't answered a lot of times. That's no slight on God. This country's a mess. And I love it, but I don't love it. If God opened a door for me to go to Pakistan or somewhere else, I'm going. I could get a date with a Pakistani long black-haired woman who'll fix me good food and love me better than what you can here. I know this. Because they're not wild rebels like they are here. Good grief. And if women are offended by that, get off of my channel. That's truth. Sometimes I have said, you know, God, I'm sick of this. Can you just take me home? I'm never going to be perfect. I'm positionally righteous through my faith in Christ. But in my body, in my flesh, there is no good thing. Paul said it, I'm saying it. And I try and I struggle. I'm not done with this place. I go to work and I got to deal with a complete horse's butt clown. I can pray all day long. It's amazing how many Christians think they're walking in the Spirit, quoting Scripture, saying this, voting this way, and they're buttholes. Being a butthole is not a fruit of the Spirit. And what's funny is most people in America are blind as hell to themselves. I have more than self-awareness. I'm aware that I'm wretched and no good. I've been told that by women. I've been told that by men. I've been told that by Christians. Oh, what you're doing isn't right. You're right. But what you're doing ain't right. But they don't see it. The women that I was married to, they don't see any of their wrongs. My ex-wife, who's still coddling and babying in an unhealthy codependency, still the shit continues. I've left them and I still got to deal with their bullshit. I went into chat one night. I was depressed about something. Like little kids. We're not going to mention names. What's wrong, Mike? Why are you so upset? Why? Oh my gosh. And I pray for you all when you struggle. But I have a down day and now it's like, are you okay? No, I'm not. Woo! At least my channel's genuine. You think I'm going to be up bubbly all the time? People were complaining about Bridge, one of my moderators, with her language. I used to be that way. But you know what? Bridget's got a heart better than most of the people I know that don't cuss at all. And I said, no, I'm not going to kick her out of the room. No, I'm not going to do that. God's not done with her, just he's not. You don't like what I'm wearing? Get off my channel. Son, grow up and be a man and leave your dad alone. You keep coming against me, God's going to work against you. I promise you that. I promise you. Leave me alone. You and I don't have a relationship. That starts with you, not me. I did what I could. You're embarrassed to me? Well, then go away. You live in Colorado, not here. Don't come to my house. Don't show up. I will call the police, and I will tell them to escort your butt out of here. Do not come. I've made others aware of that too. Nope, not bluffing. My neighbors are armed. Okay? I've told them, you see anybody messing around or coming up in here? You know what to do. You think I'm joking? I'm not. One of my neighbors has permission to come into my yard to spray the weeds on the other side of his fence anytime he wants. I said, you don't need to ask me. Don't you come here uninvited. Don't you show up. You're dangerous. You're not a man. You're a boy. You living with mom. You're judging your dad. You conveniently forgot about the hell you put me through. And you're buying weapons. You're a danger. Worry about you. Quote that Bible, it's you. Don't worry about what your dad's doing. I've tried to reach out to you over the years before I even started dressing this way. You didn't respond. Now all of a sudden you want to be holy and tell me I'm not living for God? I'm living for God more than you are. Fact. Stick that in your bent pipe and smoke it well. I'm sick of it. You don't want to talk to me? You want to do things unsigned and shit through the mail? I'll put it out here in public. Grow up. Be a man. Don't worry about me. You are cursing your father. You are not doing right. Don't hide behind that Bible. You are not honoring me. Go back to the beginning. I am not here to obey you. My Bible does not say the fathers will obey their sons. Does not say that. If my life becomes where I have to depend on somebody, I will never call on you for help. Let that be known. I will suffer and die alone in my house before I'll ever pick up the phone and call you. I will entrust myself to God, not you, not anybody else. This world and your own family members can be awful. They have no conviction about the shit that they've done, and they just go on, leaving damage everywhere. At least I took ownership for where I blew it. You have not, and your mother has not. I'm tired of you all. What you're doing is harassment. I'm documenting it. You can get in trouble for it. I'm not suggesting, I'm saying you will stop. I got an attorney twice with your mother and I won both times. You want to go for 3? Let's go. You want to go for 3? Let's go. Don't hide behind this veneer of whatever you got going on. I've had it. And Mr. Drescher, you're not a man. You're a little boy that has not grown up. 11 years of stock on my channel, I have, and I continue to turn you over to God. In God's time, not mine, He will deal with you, and it'll be perfect. And you won't have a pot to pee in. What you're doing is not right. You're harassing, threatening, intimidating, badgering. You are an evil, evil piece of fecal matter. And I pray God deals with you. He will. I don't know why He's let it go on for 11 years. But guess what? Jesus Christ was crucified by our sins, and He did nothing wrong. He was crucified by a band of kangaroo court clowns just like you, and God allowed it to happen. Michael has never professed to be perfect. That's not what I profess. I talk about the brokenness of me, the brokenness of our society, and I have every right to. You need to get saved. You don't like me, you come after me because I'm not attracted to you and you want some disgusting gay flame. Sorry, you're not my type, bro. You're gross. No man is my type. You think I can't tell who the gay wannabes are on my channel? It's pretty obvious. No man can give me what I need. Ever. Just because I'm honest doesn't mean that I'm open for gay business. Let me make that crystal clear. This grown man gonna go to work because I don't have a woman that's gonna pay for me and take care of me. All these women want the man to be their ATM. Excuse me, ladies. I will make a helper suitable for you. You women better get convicted. If God leads you to a man that makes meager means but got a roof over his head, then you better shut your mouth and submit to God and be the helper you're supposed to be, and God will bless you. And He won't bless you for your selfish, entitled desires. If anything, when you become a Christian, you should be getting unpacked, and the layers of that onion should unpeel and show you how wretched and sinful and selfish you are, and you should be starting to walk out and away from that. Women are becoming more selfish in the Christian church than ever before because the church is wrong. The church isn't convicting and confronting the women. It isn't convicting this rude, nasty, self-entitled culture. And you wonder why the churches are closing and closing and closing and closing. And the only churches that are growing are the ones that are preaching falsehoods. The Bible told us this would happen. Women telling me that I need to be wealthy. I should have looked at her and said, you know, when you were seated next to me in church and you whispered something to me, your breath about killed me. I thought I was sitting next to Smog in The Hobbit, and he had just breathed this sulfuric fire. Wow, that pretty thing smelled like that. Woo! No kissing that. I love these women that think that they're entitled to all this. Boy, your breath you better have scented poop. I better never smell anything here. Yeah. You women got a lot of nerve to expect us to be all this stuff when you're humans. When you smell on a bad day. When your hair looks like rats live in it when you wake up. Give me a break. Our society's messed up. Women think that they deserve. I love it when they say, you're lucky to have a woman like, excuse me. That woman's blessed to have a man like me. I will take ownership. I will be the man and the lion that I'm supposed to be. And if a woman doesn't want a man like that, get thee away from me, Satan. Get thee away from me, Jezebel. You're going to be alone. I already am anyway. Duh. I know I could die in here and nobody know. Guess what? The minute my spirit leaves my body, my struggle's over. Thank you, God. Even I know at the end of the day, there's not a human that can love me with an agape love. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Oh, people say a lot. But no, it's a myth. Only God can love me with the perfect love. I can't even love with the perfect love. My love is so conditional too. Women are pretty until they smell funky. Women are beautiful until they smell funky. Women are awesome until they open their mouth and show how to. Look at AOC. Alexander Ocasio. Not a bad looking woman. She opens her mouth and you're like, the hell is that? Woo! There's a woman who is grossly misguided. You know she wears the pants in the family. You can't sing that song anymore. Ain't no woman like the one I got. Ain't no woman like the one I'm trying to lose. I love women. I love them too much. It's been my detriment. I've wasted time, energy, and money on women to my own detriment. I could have had a lot more in the bank if I had never gotten involved with any of them. Any. Let me say it one more time. Any. You want to be rich, men? Stay away from the ladies. You want a godly man that's perfect, ladies? Don't marry. Ever. Don't date. Don't mate. I met a woman who said that she's married to Jesus. Okay. Why is it I hear the Woody Woodpecker sound? Thank you for listening. 77 likes, that's it. I thought I was doing Holy Thunder today and I only got 77 likes. That means I'm not performing. I can't keep up with you all. This one was the baseline thunder. This should be 100 right now. My opinion. But what do I know? I don't charge for memberships. You don't get to have Michael Nelson t-shirts or Michael Nelson dollies. You just get the raw, unfiltered truth of a man who's struggling, a man who admits his sins, who goes on YouTube. You shouldn't put yourself out there like that. Why? Does that make you nervous? Because when you think about putting... imagine yourself and a movie screen put in front of the church on Sunday morning. Imagine yourself and your thoughts are on that screen for the church to see. Wouldn't that be fun? All that lust, all that anger, all that crap that went through here. Wouldn't you like the whole church to see that? How about if they put that on the Jumbotron in everybody's home? And guess what? I'm doing it. I'm putting myself out on YouTube. My videos should go viral. Russia, Chinese. Man, this guy, you ought to see what he's saying. Wow, he's saying all kind of things. I think that this should go viral because nobody does this. Oh, you got weirdos on there. Woman that looked like she ran into a tackle box. Fishing lures, anybody? This one. Oh, yeah, I got the whole choice. I got the whole sporting goods store right on my face. Ooh, that one looked pretty lure. Ooh, I'm sorry, that hurt. Hold on, let me get the fish hook out of there. Ah! Ooh, got blood on it. No good. I'm sorry. People laugh at me, they mock me. And I'm genuine, I'm real. Which is proof that most Americans don't like honesty. They don't like transparency. They like to live with the drawbridges up. They like to stand on their little castle parapets and go pew, 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 at everybody. It's safe. It's safe. It's safe. It's a safe route. That's why you go to work and say, I'm doing well. It's gay. Safe and superficial is not the way to live. But people believe it because the majority of them do it. I don't care what people think of me. I don't care what black people think of me. I don't care what white people think of me. I don't care what men think of me. I don't care what Christians, atheists, evolutionists, jackasses, I don't care. I've been through so much that I don't care if I'm laid open, naked, and bare before the whole world. Because I am before God, and so are you, clowns. Keep up the acting. I'm just being. Woo, baby, we're on fire. I still can't get 100 likes. Maybe I could go on OnlyFans and I'd get a big old wooden pony from the old carousels, get naked and I'd go, hey, horsey. I wonder if everybody watched me do that and pay money. It's sick what people do to make money on this. Grown women. One getting on YouTube saying, I'm trying to get a face-sitting slave. I take one look at her, I'm like, oh my gosh. Can you imagine smelling down between there? Scary. And people mock me. At least I smell good. Take a whiff of some of those women down there. No. I'll be yelling, Mommy! Mommy! Yuck. You got anybody and everybody getting on the internet thinking they're a queen, thinking they're a legend. All these TikTok queens, all these teen girls sitting in their homes. They roll out of bed in the same outfit they went to bed in. And they're up there thinking they're all that in a stick. They don't do anything. They don't do any chores. They don't contribute to the good of society. But all the men are sitting there going, dog, 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 going to the dog catcher. Bow, wow, wow, diggy-da-do. You're so cute. You're so talented. We are a sick country. And you got Democrats saying, Trump's a pedophile, Trump's a pedophile. Do you have proof? Oh, yeah, I have proof. Where is it? Can you bring it into the courtroom? Can you show it to us? Oh, the internet said something. Hey, if he's guilty of pedophilia, he should go to jail. But you notice something about the Democrat Party. They'll never talk about any of their own that were there. It's always Trump. That's why it's TDS. It's why it's Trump derangement syndrome. I'm telling you. I hate that I got to go to a warehouse and do a shitty job every day for $17 an hour. That's stupid. And I could be doing so much more with the passion I have. The world doesn't want it. They don't pay for this. Benny Johnson's Trump's buddy. Somebody threatens him, the FBI comes and makes an arrest, and Benny's up there gloating about it. I got a troll for 11 years. He's done more than enough worthy of arrest. Harassment, impersonation, threatening a minor. Yeah. Yeah, I see the way this world works. It's a caste society. If I was the president and Andrew threatened me, the SWAT would surround his home in 5 seconds. That little cretin would be thrown away in a jail, and I would never pardon his ass. I'd say serve him fresh poop every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I don't want him to get paid at taxpayers' expense. Stone bed, no pillow, no shower, no toilet. He can eat his own feces. Oh, Michael, did you say? Yes, I did. We give these damn prisoners a better place to live than these damn apartments you got to pay $1,500 a month for. Prisoners have internet access. They're already hooking up with some bimbo that's free that wants to date an ex-murderer. And those same women will laugh at me. Wow! And I'm retarded and there's something wrong with me. This country is whack. Make America great again. What? That's stupid? They're about to sink the SS United States. I find the irony of that ship is symbolic of where we're at. It's only a matter of time before America's deep sixed. The SS United States, the fastest, most proudest liner ever, and it sat and rotted for 40 years, and now they're going to sink it so that a bunch of divers can dive in an empty shell of a ship, stripped of her glory, undignified death. And that's what America's doing to itself. Let's allow all these immigrants and all these illegals and all these buttholes to come in to hate our flag, hate our Constitution, and guess who's doing it? Guess who's leading the pack? Born and raised American citizens that are brainwashed by the Democrat left. They are the enemy in our midst. I'm so sick of these clowns. A democracy. Hey, dumbasses, it's a republic. I love Justin Trudeau. A democracy. Truckers are a threat to democracy. You know that clown stole their GoFundMe? Did Canada do anything? How in the hell could he do that? Because communism, socialism, Kim Jong-un, all these despots, these Democrats, they all have one thing in common. They want tyrannical dictatorial control. They want to kill me. They want to kill you. They want to shut down Christianity. They want to burn your Bibles. They want to burn your freedom. They want to take you of your guns, your vehicle, your truck, your right to gas-powered engines. You better wake up, clowns. And 40% of these young idiots in America want socialism. They didn't read the history books. Shoot. They're willingly surrendering to the gulags. Don't be surprised when they send you to Auschwitz. Stupid people play stupid games, vote in stupid leaders, and win stupid prizes. I can't get 10 more likes? Wow. The conservatives talk a tough talk. What are they doing to stop this? Not a damn thing. We vote. That's it. And Republicans won't do anything to stop it. If the Democrats get in control again, they'll just let them roll in, strip them of their guns, strip them of this. Oh, some will put up a little resistance. It'll be too late. I pray in the holy name of Jesus Christ that trumpet sounds soon, because this country is in deep poo. I don't want to live in this country if the Democrats are going to gain the upper hand again. They will make us pay for it. It will not be good. But Trump has undone his underwear big time. Stepping into Iran was not wise. They are an evil nation, but that's a country we should turn over to God. If Trump tries to block Chinese ships from getting our oil, it's going to get ugly. They're not going to back down. They will not back down. Christians, we need to pray that God protects us. Trump is not making wise decisions right now. That is my opinion. That is my opinion. By the way, Iran is still having public executions daily of their own citizens. Just be aware of that. Their crappy regime goes on and on and on. Gotta go. Thanks for listening. Thank you for taking the time to hit this channel when you could listen to any channel out there. I appreciate you. God bless you. Those that aren't saved, please get saved. Don't play games with your soul. You have now, you may not have tomorrow. Ta-ta.